Hubert Martyn Pasmore. Under his outstanding leadership, Fairchild Aircraft Limited Canada became one of Canada's leading military and commercial aircraft manufacturers during the interwar period, producing many unique aircraft types that would contribute to the development of Canada. Hubert Martyn Pasmore was born June 17, 1898, in Devonshire, England. Shortly after his father's death in 1899, his mother returned to Hamilton, Ontario, where he grew up. As a young man, Pasmore developed two strong interests: mechanical engineering and aviation. He studied engineering in Boston, but World War I curtailed further education. He enlisted in the Royal Flying Corps and graduated in 1917 as a pilot. He was sent to England. Jobs in aviation were scarce after the war. In 1922, Jack Elliott of Hamilton offered Pasmore the opportunity to fly. His job included barnstorming and stunt flying, as well as the assembly and servicing of Elliott's newly acquired World War I surplus aircraft. In July 1922, Sherman Mills Fairchild established Fairchild Aerial Surveys Limited at Lac-à-la-Tortue, Quebec. The wealthy American had invented a high-speed between-the-lens shutter for an aerial camera. He was looking for a second pilot in 1924, and Pasmore was recommended. Mr. Fairchild visited him in Hamilton and was impressed by the car he had built to resemble a Rolls-Royce. He interviewed Pasmore and hired him immediately. At Lac-à-la-Tortue, Pasmore gained experience as a pilot and took an active role in the maintenance of the aircraft. Year-round aerial photography and survey, mapping, transport, forest patrol, and rescue were all part of his job. Pasmore flew in the first experimental airmail flights on October 27, 1927, accompanied by air engineer Walter Bill Carré. He piloted an F-2 seaplane to Ottawa, carrying the first official airmail, transferred from a British transocean liner at Rimouski, Quebec. This flight helped to establish an airmail service the following year, which greatly speeded up delivery of first-class mail between Britain and Canada. Pasmore was well acquainted with the Fairchild FC-2. With its enclosed heated cabin, it was an ideal general utility aircraft. It could be quickly converted from wheels to floats or skis, and it soon became the most popular all-purpose aircraft in Canada in the late 1920s. The Canadian company became the sales agent for Fairchild Aircraft in Canada. Sherman Fairchild had a high regard for Pasmore's abilities. It was no surprise when he supported Pasmore's suggestion to establish a Fairchild aircraft manufacturing company in Canada. With Fairchild's financial backing, Pasmore chose Longueuil, near Montreal, as the site of the new facility, and in 1928 purchased a 265-acre property beside the St. Lawrence River. He supervised construction as plant manager and flew as test pilot. Hubert Pasmore married Beatrice Stewart in 1930, and together they had 3 children: Godfrey, Penelope, and Pamela. The name Fairchild Aerial Surveys was changed to Fairchild Aircraft Limited when the new plant was completed in 1930. The new facilities included an aircraft manufacturing, service, and repair plant with seaplane dock and airfield, creating Canada's first all-round aircraft complex in the interwar period. Pasmore's career with the company quickly progressed. He was named president in 1933 and managing director in 1934. Pasmore supervised the design and manufacture of the first all-metal fuselage aircraft, the Super 71. The metal stress analysis was done by a brilliant engineer, L.C. McGill. In 1935, an improved model, the F-82, was built. The company became one of the most active aircraft enterprises during this period. Its many contracts included the assembly of the Junkers 52 aircraft from parts shipped from Germany, and the sales and manufacturing rights for Lockheed aircraft in Canada. Hubert Pasmore had exceptional leadership qualities. He was creative and imaginative. He hired workers with the highest potential, and he had the ability to motivate and inspire those who worked with him. This led to immense individual pride in workmanship, and when the Canadian aircraft industry expanded in the late 1930s due to the threat of World War II, skilled Fairchild personnel contributed considerably to its rapid growth. Fairchild began manufacturing the Handley-Page-Hampton bomber and the Bristol Bolingbroke light bomber for the RCAF and the RAF in 1938. Fairchild was also manufacturing the Curtiss SB-2C Helldivers towards the end of the war. In 1945, components for the Vought Corsair and the Grumman Tigercat aircraft were produced for the U.S. military. Throughout the war, Pasmore supervised the plant and hosted visits by many dignitaries, including the Duke of Kent and the Governor-General of Canada. The plant continued to expand, going from approximately 100 employees to close to 10,000 by 1944. By the end of the war, Pasmore had one of the most capable aeronautical engineering teams in Canada. Fairchild then developed a new utility airplane, the F-11 Husky Freighter, which was test-flown in 1946. This aircraft featured a unique rear loading door and could accommodate a 16-foot canoe inside the fuselage, eliminating the need to tie it onto the floats. The company worked with the Ontario Provincial Air Service on its order for 25 new aircraft. In spite of the successful Husky development, the OPAS policy for contract awards changed, and the contract was cancelled. This took a toll on the company. Pasmore decided to diversify. He created Fairchild Homes, an independent company within the Fairchild facility. He wanted to help solve the post-war housing crisis by producing prefabricated homes on a production line system. Unfortunately, there was a post-war shortage of components such as sinks, stoves, refrigerators, and bathroom fixtures. The demand for these houses was high, but lack of components slowed delivery, and subsequently cash flow suffered. Hubert Pasmore made the difficult decision to cease Fairchild operations, and in 1948, Mr. Fairchild Canada retired from the Canadian aviation world. Pasmore remained very active throughout his long retirement. In 1946, he acquired the surplus hull of a patrol boat, completely refurbished it, and spent many enjoyable years sailing it. He married Diana in 1966 and moved to Nevis in the Caribbean, where he built their dream home, carefully designed to be hurricane-proof. They moved to Victoria, BC in 1990. At the age of 94, Pasmore was honored at a private showing of son Godfrey's collection of paintings of Fairchild aircraft at the Canadian Aviation Museum at Rockcliffe. He died in Victoria, April 21, 1998, just short of his 100th birthday. He was inducted posthumously into the Quebec Air and Space Hall of Fame in 2004. Hubert Martyn Pasmore was inducted into Canada's Aviation Hall of Fame at ceremonies held in Toronto, May 28, 2008.